Hello, history fans. Today we have an extraordinary challenge. 50 questions without options designed to test your knowledge. Really? Don't worry if you get one wrong. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn something new. Are you ready? Shall we begin? Which invention traditionally marks the beginning of history? Writing? Which city was the capital of the Aztec Empire? Tenochtitlan? Which dictator ruled Germany during World War II? Adolf Hitler. Which is the only one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world that still exists? The Great Pyramid of Giza? Where was gunpowder invented? In China? Who was the dictator overthrown by the Cuban Revolution in 1959? Fulgencio Batista? Which hurricane devastated the U.S. city of New Orleans in 2005? Katrina. Who was the Roman emperor who began the construction of the Colosseum? Vespasian? What conflict pitted England and France against each other during much of the 14th and 15th centuries? The 100 Years' War. Which European explorer gave his name to the American continent? Amerigo Vespucci? Who was the first emperor of China? Shi Huang? Which 16th century religious movement challenged the authority of the Catholic Church in Europe? The Protestant Reformation? Who was the most prominent leader of the Indian independence movement? Mahatma Gandhi? Which king was executed during the French Revolution? Louis XVI? In what year was the United States Declaration of Independence signed? In 1776. Which country left the European Union in 2020? United Kingdom. Which country launched the first artificial satellite into space in 1957? The Soviet Union. In which region of France did the Allied forces land on D-Day? In 1944. Normandy. What was the official language of the Western Roman Empire? Latin? Who was the Spanish conqueror who defeated the Inca Empire? Francisco Pizarro? Which civilization created one of the earliest known writing systems? Cuneiform script. The Sumerian civilization? What did Alfred Nobel, the creator of the Nobel Prizes, invent? Dynamite? In which decade of the 20th century did the hippie movement emerge? The 1960s. Which historical era began with the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the year 476? The Middle Ages. What were the elite warriors of feudal Japan called? Samurai? What was the capital of the Byzantine Empire? Constantinople? What was the name of the flagship of Christopher Columbus on his first voyage to America in 1492? The Santa Maria. Which Greek mathematician and inventor studied the functioning of levers? Archimedes? In what year did the Berlin Wall fall? In 1989. Where were the trials against the main Nazi leaders held after World War II? In Nuremberg, Germany? Which was the first country to allow women to vote at the national level? New Zealand. Which scientist proposed the theory of evolution by natural selection? Charles Darwin? From which region of Europe did the Vikings come? Scandinavia. Which Greek philosopher was sentenced to death by drinking hemlock? Socrates? Which Russian city was known as Leningrad for much of the 20th century? St. Petersburg. Who was the Queen of the United Kingdom from 1952 until her death in 2022? Elizabeth II? Which country began its War of Independence with the Cry of Dolores in 1810? Mexico. Which English monarch broke with the Catholic Church and founded the Anglican Church? Henry VIII. Who was the Macedonian military leader who conquered Persia in the 4th century BC? Alexander the Great. What was the name of the European reconstruction program promoted by the United States after World War II? Marshall Plan. What was the name of the space shuttle that disintegrated in January 1986? Challenger. What disease did the first vaccine in history protect against? Smallpox. Which wars pitted the Greeks against the Persians? The Greco-Persian Wars. Which military leader led the campaigns that decisively contributed to the independence of Argentina, Chile, and Peru? José de San Martín. Who is this historical figure? Galileo Galilei? What trade route connected China with Europe during ancient times and the Middle Ages? The Silk Road? Who was the first human to travel into space? Yuri Gagarin? What is the name today of the country that was historically known as Persia? Iran? Which chemical elements did Marie Curie discover? Radium and polonium. In which country did the Bay of Pigs invasion occur in 1961? Cuba? And now it's time for the bonus question. Do you recognize this Roman leader? Write his name in the comments, and let's see if you can identify him. Thank you for joining us in this Dosis de Cultura. Remember to follow us if you want to learn something new in every video. See you soon.